Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? This is my first time doing this, so if you guys can give me a thumbs up or just say hi or something. I see that there are three of you here. So I'm Moni, and you are at my virtual office. Can you guys hear me? This is my first time, so I just want to make sure I'm on air and it says recording. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So you guys are, like I said, you're in my virtual office. I work from home. Most of you know me as Moni. I'm Monica Jefferson, and I'm a military spouse. I've been married for 19 years, and I just recently started my business, within the last 2 years. So my husband actually, I want to give you a little background so you can see why I am talking about the things I'm talking about coming up, and just share with you a little bit of my history, just so you can kind of feel who I am. So I've been a stay-at-home mom for 11 years. I have 3 kids, and I've been married for 19 years. And in 2014, my spouse deployed for a year. Oh, can you see me? Can you see me, Bernice? I just got that message. Let me know if you guys can see me, because it says I'm on air. Okay, thank you. Feedback, that's what I need. So like I was saying, my spouse had deployed, and so all of a sudden I had all of this time. And like I said, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't really necessarily know what to do at that time. So I started to write a blog. And in that time, I started to enjoy the freedom of having a voice and sharing about my military spouse life and all the journeys that go along with it. And my spouse came home, and we moved. And I realized in this last PCS that I was going to, my youngest son, who's 4, was going to be starting school. And so what was I going to do with my time? I went to school at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, and I got a degree in communications and public relations. And I didn't use it. I just traveled with my spouse. I supported the military, I supported my spouse. And, that's what I did. I just had this degree. And so when I moved here to my current duty base, I figured, well, hey, I might as well get out there into the workforce and start creating a career of my dreams and start planning my future, right? Well, it was easier said than done, because I was applying to different jobs. I went to the base, I took the resume writing, the career building, like all of those classes that you take. I was applying to interviews and getting the interviews. But then as soon as I mentioned military spouse or how long I was going to be in the area, the whole aura in the room would change. And I felt really defeated. And in that defeat is where my virtual business was born. So one day, out of sheer annoyance and disappointment with the community and the support military spouses get, I created a business. I came downstairs, I created an LLC, and the rest is history. So I currently am the owner of DTH Powerhouse Public Relations, and it is a virtual company. I collaborate with clients. I help them launching products and getting their name out there and building their brand. And I do all of that with my computer, which is a virtual business. So we're going to jump right into, let's see, why creating a virtual business is the best thing for a military spouse. And Bernice is on here as the administrator. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, please feel free to put them in here. I'm going to, once I start the presentation, I'll stop halfway and answer any questions you may have. And that's really it. So I guess let's get started. Let me see. So I want to share slides. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm used to getting like a little bit up. I don't know why it won't get bigger. Sorry, guys. Work with me here. All right, so we're just going to go from here. So 8 steps for military spouses to create a virtual biz. So, oh, why is it not doing this? Okay, open presentation. There we go. There we go. All right, so 8 steps for military spouses to create a virtual biz, which I'm really excited about, by the way. Presented by Military Spouse Advocacy Network. This nonprofit organization, Strong Spouses, Stronger Families, and sponsored by our official insurance sponsor, AFI, Armed Forces Insurance. And I'm your host, Moni Jefferson, Communications and Marketing Director. And I'm excited to share this with you guys because the 8 steps for for military spouses to create a virtual business, it's because it's becoming the reality more and more for military spouses all over the world. Spouses are no longer relying on society to create the career of their dreams. They're just doing it on their own. They're creating virtual businesses and becoming entrepreneurs. And so it's really exciting. Creating a virtual career basically is an alternative for military spouses who want to be entrepreneurs, consultants, or part-time workers. It's minimal upfront cost setup, and the risk is really low with allowing revenue to contribute to the household while still supporting the military and the active duty or reserve spouse while they're on the move. So a couple of reasons why military spouses should start a virtual biz is, of course, number one, you're your own boss, right? So who doesn't want to be their own boss? You get to use your creativity and do the things that you want to do, not what's on a criteria. There's no more job turnover. So that means not learning new skills or tasks that you normally wouldn't want to learn in an everyday ideal career. You get to work your passion, which means that you get to actually do things that you want to do, that you want to study, that you want to contribute in your career. Number 4, your business goes where you go, which means if you're in California and you move to North Carolina, or if you're in Hawaii, or wherever you move, wherever your spouse is deployed, you get to go as well, because you only need your computer and the internet, right? Or your phone. So you can work it from anywhere. And your business, you can basically work it, like I said, from anywhere, which means you can work it in airports while you're on the move, in a car with a hotspot, or of course in your home. Like today, I'm in my virtual office. So we're going to jump right in. I wanted to just share a couple of reasons why it would be great for a military spouse to start a virtual biz. So step 1, find your passion and create the vision. So once you decide that you want to move forward and start your business, it is going to be vital to create a plan, the vision of your business, which is what your passion is. So a lot of times when we do have jobs and we are working for other companies, we are actually building their dream jobs and doing what they're passionate about. So it's important for you to really hone in on your skill, your craft, your talent. A lot of times, spouses, I feel that, I know for me in my situation, my actual skill set, I had to not really be able to practice it because I had to support my military spouse. And that meant that I couldn't work full-time in public relations, which is what I love. So I had to figure out what I wanted to do and what I was really good at, and figure out what kind of job I wanted, virtual job I wanted to create, or business I wanted to create for myself. And so that's what I did. And I use a lot of this. I wanted to share with you guys really quick. Can you guys still hear me okay and see me? I wanted to share with you guys what I used for creating figuring out what my passion was. So I want to share my desktop with you guys really quick. So this right here is called Meister, and this is basically a mind map. And you can go on here. This is a free app. You can get it on your phone. And this is what I use to create and brain dump my ideas and really kind of get in on what my passion is. So what I tell people a lot of times, I use makeup, for example. Let's say you're passionate about doing makeup. Well, my question to you would be like, that's great. Would you want to do it every single day of your life? Would it make you happy to book clients and to work that industry? Yeah, okay. So next, would you be willing to get a certification for it? If the answer is no, that you don't want to go back to school, then I would say that's not your passion. I would say scratch it off and figure out another way. So a passion can also be things people say you're good at, or, something that you used to do before you started, traveling with the military, and, you used to paint or watercolor. I mean, there's so many different talents and backgrounds, that you can get into, that you can really build on your passion. And from there, I feel like that's a really good way to figure out what kind of career you want to create. Let's see, go back to the slides. All right. So now you've created your passion. You've decided what you want to do. So we're going to go right into step number 2, which is explore virtual businesses. Excuse the typo, you guys. So explore virtual businesses. So what that means is that you have to decide which kind of biz is good for you. So this can be anything. All you really need is your computer and your cell phone, because what you're doing is your skill set, your craft. Most of the activities are done remotely or online. So when you think of a virtual business, you think of a freelancer, maybe a web design consultant, anything like that would be a really great virtual business. So a couple of examples I wrote down were obviously blogging, which is a really popular creative industry to get into. Creative companies, like myself, I created a public relations agency, an Etsy store, knowledge and information based by books and videos. You can become an author if you've been wanting to write a book, or a speaker if you're really great at speaking and motivating and coaching people, to give you guys a few examples. Step 3, create your brand. And this is one of the things that this is like one of my favorite things to do, is creating the brand of what your service or your product is going to offer to your prospective clients. So what that means is, what is your message? What do you want your prospective clients or industry to know about your brand? What kind of product or service are you going to provide for your brand? And what are the benefits and features of your biz? What do customers expect from your product? And logistics, things like logos, website, business cards. And I always think of when I think of creating your brand, I always think of, what do you want people to know you by with just looking at your logo or seeing you visually? What do you want them to know about the product or the service that you provide? How do you want to resonate in their mind? And another thing I do with the brand messaging, creating your brand, is thinking about how other people are going to perceive it. So you want to make sure that your brand is something that people can relate to, that you can be transparent and authentic in it as well, so that they can feel like they know your brand. So I really love getting into the brand recognition. And I will say this, a lot of times creating your brand starts in one area. And over time, as you and your business evolve as an entrepreneur, your brand may change. So there's some times where they have a brand relaunch or a brand logo change. It's okay. My thing is, just start. Like if you want to just start. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just you doing it. So if you believe in the product or service that you're providing, I feel like you should do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. The other thing I want to say about creating your brand is to make sure that it's cohesive throughout. So that your website matches your Facebook, matches your logo, that the mission is all the same. So that's really, really important as far as your brand is concerned. All right, we're going to move to step number 4, which is services and investments. And you guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. I literally I've had my business since 2015, and January of 2016, I got this step 1,000% down. So like I said, your business is going to evolve and grow just as you do, and it's going to start in one place. So services and so your services and investments. And what I mean by this is so important. Services. What are you providing? And I will say this because I know from myself, in public relations, there are tons of services we can provide. I mean, tons. However, we should not be doing every single service because your clients not only get confused, but then you start doing everything and you spread yourself too thin and you do not practice over and over a certain skill set, a service, and people don't know you for it. So for me, for example, or for anybody, I'll just use, let's just use making bracelets, for example. Let's just say you make bracelets and you have an Etsy store and you have 50 bracelets on there that you're making, but only 3 to 4 bracelets are selling the most. My tip would be to not continue to make the other, 40 something bracelets and really start making the other bracelets that are really selling well so that the client knows that you're known for those type of bracelets, that specifically, not that you make all these bracelets and now you make rings and now you make all these other things. So they know that when they go to your Etsy shop that you're going to have these 4 or 5 different bracelets that are very specific, and they know your message, which is your brand. They know the service you're providing, and they know the price. I know for me, trying to wear too many different hats means that you are just so spread so thin. So I would say make sure that you write down your services. Another really great thing too is if you do have, let's say you start out with 5 or 6 services, or let's just say 10. I'll just say 10 services. Let's say you start out with 10 services and really only 4 of them are like your top sellers. That means you probably can get rid of the other 6 and concentrate 1,000% on the 4 services that are bringing you the most money and the most clients. And that would be a really great way to figure out exactly what services. And like I said, this is a process. It's step by step. You're not going to know 1,000% at first. You're just going to go through and say, hey, well, that didn't work. I will try this instead. And as far as the investments, I will say, like I said earlier this year, January, I really got my investment packages down. And what I mean by investment packages is by knowing specifically what services you're providing and the price, and having it in detail for your client. And the way I do that is I use an automated system called Honeybooks, and it has all of my proposals, my questionnaires, my surveys. Everything I do goes right in there. But I tell you what, I provide 4 services and I send it right to them. They know the service I provide, in detail the service I provide, and how much the services are. So those are really, really important, not only for you to know so that they don't catch you off guard, which I will say I have been caught off guard and like, I'll get back with you on how much that costs. And it's okay. It's okay to not know and just go with it. It's going to happen. And, this is all a learning learning experience and nobody's perfect at it. So that was slide number 4. Does anybody have any questions about services and investments, branding, anything so far? No, we're good. Everybody's good to go. All right. Well, I'm going to keep on going then. Let me see. Let me get back on here. All right. So we're going to move on to client experience, you guys. This one is so vital. So the client experience is, you and I have been clients before, and it is so vital to your business to have a client experience for those that are investing into your brand. And the reason I say it is because if you give them the ultimate client experience, not only are they going to return to you, but they are going to refer you to fellow family, fellow friends, or anybody they hear that may need your service. And a couple of the things that you can make sure to guarantee a good client experience is to make sure that you listen to your client and you ask them questions. Make sure that you're listening to their needs and their desires and their insecurities about investments that they're making into either your product or your service. Because the last thing I want to do is buy something from anybody and feel funky about buying, or have buyer's remorse, I guess they call it. So I say listen to your client. The other thing is make sure that you guys agree on all the terms and conditions in your proposals, in your investments, and your service. So if you have a service that's, let's just say $750, and a client is investing their money into that, but there's something in the terms and conditions that they don't like, do not get that proposal signed. Iron out those details, talk about the concerns, really be genuine with the client. They're making a big investment into your business, and we all want our money to be taken seriously and our needs to be taken very genuinely. So I would advise to make sure that everything is agreed upon before you sign anything. The other thing would be keep good records. And I will say, this is so good. So many times you get emails from clients over and over again, and you want to trash them, but you don't do that. In my experience, you end up looking in your trash for something you may have missed. So keep good records of when the client has contacted you. Have a folder for them in your email. I actually create a spreadsheet for my clients that I share with them through Google Docs. And so anytime we speak, I document that we've spoken or anything that I've done for them. I document it. Anytime we have a meeting, I respond to them in an email, kind of giving a summary of the meeting with an agenda or anything like that. So the client feels like you're really taking their investment seriously. The other thing I would say is to be organized. And that's one way to be organized is by keeping good records. The other way to be organized is going back to step number 4, which is making sure all your services and everything's streamlined as one, so that when they receive information from you, it is in the same workflow space. They can go back and refer to it. And they feel like you know what you're doing. You're on one page. You're organized. You know exactly what their needs are, what their question was, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see. And the other thing I want to say is to, follow up with them. Excuse me. And what I mean by follow up is just stay in their ear, stay relevant. Just because, okay, I see what you say, Bernice. Just because some people, let's just say you provide a service. So I provide a public relations service. I help clients with social media, brand coach, brainstorming, launching a product or a service. And so our contract comes up. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to follow up with my client. It just means that our contract is up. but I want to stay relevant. So I add them to my email list. Anything that I feel may benefit their business or a referral for them is even better. Send them a referral. Stay relevant to them. I will share with you guys today, which was really perfect timing. So I'm a client to somebody, and they sent me a note today. I'm just like, this is great. They sent me a note. I'm just saying something nice, and it was really nice. It's handwritten. Look, you guys. Oh, let's see. It's a handwritten note. Who does handwritten notes? This is amazing. This is an amazing client experience. I felt like $1 million today. And then something I do for my clients is I actually hire a local gift business, and they do gift boxes for me. And this has just like meat, cheese, a little cutting board, a little knife, a letter saying, thank you so much for being a good client. I appreciate you. And it's just being genuine. Like, I really do appreciate my clients because they don't have to invest in me. They can go hire some big company to do it or whatever. But those are the little things that keep the clients going back. So it will not only keep them coming back, but they'll refer. They'll talk about you. They'll, on social media, they'll tag you. If they see something on a network that says, oh, looking for somebody to write a pitch package or to write a press release. I've had so many people tag me and get business from that. So just stay relevant. Follow up with them. Send them Christmas cards. Little things like that matter to people who have invested into your business. So let me jump right back into the slides. Oh, went to the beginning. So the client experience is one of the most important things, because they're going to keep revenue coming right back into your business. All right, let's move on to the next one, you guys, which is one of my favorites. It's social media. I know. Some people are just like over social media. They don't want to be on there posting. They're sick of it. And you know what? I get it. But I actually love social media. So it is my jam. But I will say social media marketing is the best free marketing for your business if you're starting out, that you don't have the budget to invest in either advertising, marketing, or public relations. This is the best way to get your business out there. Oh, sorry guys, this weather, I tell you, the allergy season. So I will say social media. And what I want to say about social media is people want to see the brand through social media channels. And what I mean by that is you have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr. Oh gosh, what else is there? I don't know. There's so many out there. People want to see what you're doing. So if you make a product, and let's just say you make candles, but you don't have any of your candles photographed or featured or burning or your studio or the history of it, people want to feel, they want to trust what they're buying into. And nowadays, people are not necessarily buying into big name brands. People will buy more small business if they feel like there's a connection, a genuine, authentic, transparent connection. They don't want all the fluff. They just want to see you really working your business. They want to see behind the scenes. I have a client who has a photography business. And so what we do is we do behind the lens once a week on her social media. We share behind the lens, and this is how she feels when she photographs, or sharing a story that made her teary-eyed, or an inspiration from a client. And I tell you what, those social media posts get some of the most insights, likes, and shares than any other client, any other post during the week. Because you know what? They're seeing that she does have a business, but they're getting to see the person behind the business. They really get to get a feel for who it is. And people are more susceptible to buying into that person's business because they get to hear their voice. They get to see the brand. They get to see the visual of who it is that they're investing into. So I will say social media is one of the most vital. Another thing about social media, let's just say you don't like to post a lot on social media. I get it, you know, I get it. It is time consuming. However, I will say this, if you get some good automated systems, you won't have to log in every single day. So it's funny because one of my clients, I was speaking to her the other day and she said something to me and I said, oh, honey, I haven't been on Facebook all day. She said, really? You have like 4 posts on all your social media channels. I said, oh yeah, I know. I said, I schedule, everything is scheduled out. And so it's really good to get some automated systems going. You set time aside every single week or a month. I know some creative entrepreneurs that they sit down for 4 hours that month and they schedule their social media for the entire 30 days. And they invest in stock photos, or they get free stock photos, or they take their own photos. Excuse me. So I will say it is so important. So if you can invest an hour a week, maybe 5 days a week, post 1 time a day, and you do it through automation, it won't be that tough. So I will say social media, and it's also, like I said, if you don't have a budget. My internet is not very good. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you can hear me. So yeah, just make sure you get on there, share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your product. People want to see you and they want to see your product. So, and then that takes us to our next slide. Let me get back on here. I hope all this back and forth is not confusing you guys. So our next slide, which is networking. You guys, I cannot talk about this topic enough. This is one of the topics I talk to the most about with my clients. So networking is one-on-one people getting to know you through you speaking about your product or your service. So you're just not putting a social media post on how you made that candle. You're actually either getting out into the community of where you live, going on the base, or actually going into these social media business groups online and networking. So let's kind of hit the first one, which is, networking on the base. Of course, when you move to any base, there's always tons of resources for you to reach out and kind of find out where businesses are on base, if there's any kind of career fairs or anything like that you can get involved. But for me, what I think is the most important thing as a military spouse is when you move is to network beyond the gates. And what I mean by that is to really go out into your local community and start going to local groups. Check out the Chamber of Commerce. Find out, so for example, when I moved here, first of all, networking, I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing until I started going to a couple of groups. So I started to go to the Dream Queens, which is basically I had to learn an elevator speech, which I never even thought I needed. And I had to start talking about who I am, what my business is, and what kind of services I can provide. And I had no clue in the beginning. And so it was really good for me to get out into the community and start talking about that so that people can know who I am and what I'm about. So around here, everybody knows I'm a military spouse. They know I have a virtual public relations agency, and they know I help people with social media. So I know that they know because I'm out there speaking into the community, and speaking into the community can also get people to invest into your brand, which is a service or product that you're providing. So I say get beyond the gates and jump right into the community and start really networking. And what I mean by that is have an elevator speech, have your business cards on hand, and maybe make it a goal to go to, if you, let's say Dream Queens, go to that networking event for 3 months in a row and see if you make a local connection. You will be surprised at how many collaborations have come out of these local networking groups that I would have never even imagined. I mean, just the connections, you guys, they're amazing. You will be so surprised. And they always want to support military spouses. So I say get out there, get beyond the gates, and start investing and networking out in the community. It's really good for you to also join on social media, join biz groups. So now you have a virtual business, right? So you need to virtually network as well. And that means choosing a couple of networking groups and staying a part of them for 30 days or so, popping in a few times a week, kind of see what's going on. I too have also gotten collaborations and new clients from popping into these networking groups. Somebody will say, oh, I need help writing a press release. Well, you know what? That's something I do. So I reach out to that person and they're all the way in Washington State. But we're on social media, we're in the same community, and they're hiring me instead of going, down the street in their local community and hiring somebody from another PR firm. So, just making those connections, going on there and showing support. Sometimes you're not always going to be able to respond to somebody's post or know exactly what they're talking about. But if you just go on there and congratulate them or give them a referral, like, hey, I don't know anything about graphic design, but this girl's really good. She helped me with this, or my girlfriend says she's great, or whatever. It's really great to network on social media. Let's see. Let's go to the next one, which leads us into step number 8, which is public relations. And this is right up my alley. It's one of my favorite topics, obviously. So many people, if most don't know, when I say PR, they're like, what is that? It's like a big mystery. Like, I've had somebody say that to me. They're like, that's a mystery. What is it? And first thing I want to say is PR is not paid advertising. That's the first thing I want to share with the audience. PR is not paid advertising. It is earned and trusted brand recognition. And that goes all the way to what we were talking about in branding your business. It is in the social media. A lot of the steps that I talked about today is included in your PR. It's also, pitching to companies for services or products. So let me give you an example of a service that I do. I have a client who's a speaker, and she wants to speak at an event, and she wants to get paid for it. So what I do is I sit down with the client and we come up with a media kit or a pitch package. And that client has a media kit that has all her information, her social media handles, how many people she has as followers, her background, her education, her demographics of her audience. And the pitch package is more like a story. It tells a story of where my client came from, who she is, what she represents, places that she's been featured, and where she's going with her mission and her brand of her business. And what I do is I'll say, okay, client, let's talk about this company that you want to pitch. And I will send that company her pitch package or her media kit. And I will start correspondence with that company and set up either payment fees or accommodations, whatever the case may be, and set up days and times, or get them that speaking engagement. PR is reactive, is reactive marketing. It's not so much as proactive. It really gets into the community. It really gets people, like my client, she got a speaking gig. Whether it was paid or not, it's still PR. You're in front of an audience and your brand is going to be recognized on a bigger scale. So that's called pitching your client. The other thing I do with my clients is I also build a relationship for the future for potential clients. So this is another example. I had a client who wants to have a planner at a event that they're hosting in July. So once again, I'm going to pitch the company. I'm going to ask them if they're willing to provide 25 of their calendars, and in exchange, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And that client will receive these planners in exchange for social media shares or anything like that. The other thing public relations does is it helps with press releases. It helps with brand building relationships. And of course, always helps with your social media. So I wanted to make sure that I gave a little bit of that example because it's really great for you to be essentially able to do your own PR as well. Overall, PR, like I said, is meant to build relationships with current or potential clients and to build trust, brand trust. And so people know your brand through building and collaborating with your client and sharing it with your key publics, which is also known as your target audience. So do we have any questions? Let me go back here. Any questions? I know I see you guys on there. I just don't know if you guys have questions, or of course, I'm always available offline as well. I want to also share with you guys a couple of other things. Well, two more things. Let's see. So today I'm offering, for joining us on this webinar, not only are we giving away 2 gift certificates sponsored by Armed Forces Insurance, we're also giving away a bonus download on 3 strategies to automate your biz that I did not really talk about. I did talk a little bit about it in here when I talked about investments and client experience and social media. But this will be a guide, more specifically and strategic, on how to automate your biz and stay organized. So if you want to get that guide, go ahead and email me at mjefferson@millspouseadvocacynetwork.org, and I will pop that right over into your inbox. Once again, I want to say thank you to MSAN and Armed Forces Insurance for sponsoring this event. And does anybody have questions? Or Vernice, are you still on? I know you said your internet was kind of in and out. I do have a Facebook message here. It says, I never knew. I have like 8 Facebook notifications. Hold up. Let's see if there's questions on here. Okay, no, that had something to do with something else. Anyway, I want to say thank you guys so much for joining me on this webinar. And it was my first one. So, shoot me an email, mjefferson@millspouseadvocacynetwork.org. Let me know how I did, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like more information about. I'd love to share it with you guys. I hope that you all go out and create the business of your dreams, the virtual biz that you can rock while still supporting your family, the military, an active duty member, and just creating the career of your dreams and just taking it by the horns and doing it yourself and not relying on anybody else to, create your destiny. You create your own destiny. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Once again, I'm Moni Jefferson. Was your host for the webinar this evening. Thank you to MSAN. Thank you to AFI, and for everybody who was on air with me today. And I will talk to you guys later. I guess nobody has any questions. I was open to answer some questions. No, nothing. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Make sure to check us out at MSAN, Military Spouse Advocacy Network.org. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on all of our blogs. We talk about so many great things. And this was just one of many webinars coming. We're going to have webinars on a whole bunch of other things. So please make sure to register and pop in, and we're going to be doing giveaways. I wonder if Vernice, are you still on there? Okay. No, Lindsay and another caller. I wanted to give away the gift. things, but it doesn't look. All right, well, we will be in contact with you guys who joined the webinar, and we will be announcing the winners of our gift cards donated by AFI. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.